What is going on, everybody? It is Deadpool here. It's ShadowClaw900 here. But today I'm doing a little something different. In this video I'm going to be counting down my top 20 favorite Marvel supervillains of all time. So, let's get this started. Coming in at number 20 is MODOK. So, MODOK. He's a little supervillain who flies around in like this little chair thingy that he's attached to, or whatever, throne, I don't know. But it's pretty cool. He can shoot lasers and everything. His headband that has the piece in the middle that could shoot lasers. There's a lot this guy can do. And in his mission statement, it's in his name. It's a mental organism designed only for killing. And his plans that he's plotting to do and everything, they could be really they could really be smart and brilliant, and or he can be really goofy too. So I mean, he's both. He's smart, and brilliant, and that's just what makes him a really unique supervillain in my eyes. And that is why MODOK has made this list. Coming in at number 19 is Bullseye. Bullseye is a very interesting Marvel supervillain. And what's really cool about Bullseye is that he can turn anything into a deadly weapon. A magic playing card, he can turn that into a deadly weapon. A pencil, he can turn that into a deadly weapon. He can even turn a paperclip into a deadly weapon. I mean, hey, imagine that. But Bullseye is very unique, and I mean, I just always like the look on the guy. Just the target and everything on him and everything. Always looked really cool. Went well with the costume and everything. And he's one of Daredevil's enemies. But overall, yeah, this guy, he's pretty cool, and like I say, Bullseye, he definitely earns this list. And coming in at number 18 is Sandman. Sandman is one of Spider-Man's biggest rivals ever. Now, what I really like about Sandman, that he can turn one of his fists into like a big hammer, and his other fist, he can just make it bigger. And a lot of things he could do involving sand, which, he can make a sandstorm, he can make quicksand. A lot of interesting things about this guy, and he's one of my favorite supervillains, and that's why I put him on this list. Coming in at number 17 is Red Hulk. Now, what I have to say about Red Hulk, he's pretty much just the villain version of Hulk, but only he's red, and he has different color eyes, but whatever, and probably different color hair. But this guy, pretty similar powers to Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. But what I really like about Red Hulk is how he's just so destructive in such a villainous fashion. And it's just something when he does something destructive to his enemies, he looks like a true monster doing it. And I gotta say, Red Hulk definitely earns a spot on this list. Coming in at number 16 is the Red Skull. Red Skull is one of the absolute greatest Marvel villains, and his character is played so well. The evil look he has on his face is just absolutely well done, absolutely well done. And this guy, his only goal is just to destroy the world and overcome his rivals and everything. Not as powerful as all the other villains or whatever, but just the evilness that this guy personifies, it's just absolutely well played. And I think Red Skull definitely deserves a spot on here, and he got it. But coming in at number 15 is Doc Ock, or Dr. Octopus, whatever you want to call him, but Doc Ock. This is another one of Spider-Man's biggest rivals. Doc Ock was one of the absolute most memorable villains on Spider-Man. He had 4 robotic arms to fight against his rival known as Spider-Man, and just the villainous character played as Doc Ock was very, very interesting, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, Doc Ock deserves a spot on this list. And coming in at number 14 is Ultron. One of the Avengers' biggest rivals is this genocidal robot known as Ultron. Now, Ultron is a very powerful villain. He can constantly swap out body parts and everything and just regenerate himself and everything. And he's really, really cool looking. I mean, I've always liked the cool robotic look and everything. It's just awesome, and there's a lot I could say about him, but I don't want this video to go too long. Coming in at number 13 is Galactus. The planet-eating Galactus has made it to this list. Now, this guy's very powerful. I mean, I've seen him on a few Marvel movies, and he's awesome. Now, he's really powerful. I mean, like, he has so many, like, solar beam-like attacks. He tries to take over the galaxy and everything, and there's so much you could say about this guy. I mean, the look, the powers he has, it's just absolutely amazing, and he's definitely one of my favorites. Coming in at number 12 is Thanos. Thanos is one of the absolute best villains ever. Now, when I've seen him in the Marvel movies, it was absolutely amazing. Now, this guy means serious business, and he uses the Infinity Gauntlets in his glove. He uses those to try to kill off at least half of the universe or galaxy. But I mean, Thanos, he just looks so intimidating too as a villain, and Thanos is one of the absolute coolest supervillains ever, and he definitely deserves to be on this list. I know I'm saying that about a lot of guys, but whatever. Coming in at number 11 is Rhino. Let's talk about this intimidating monster known as Rhino. This is another one of Spider-Man's rivals, and Rhino, he's as strong as a rhino, let me tell you. Now, he charges like a rhino, and he can destroy like none other. Like, holy crap, is this guy ever dominant? And always loved Rhino, and he's just such a cool supervillain. Alright, guys, we are making it into the top 10, and coming in at number 10 is Loki. The brother of Thor and the son of Odin, Loki is on the list. Now, this guy, he truly defines a villain. He's like the cocky and arrogance in Loki. I mean, it was just perfectly done, and that grin he gives, that's a true villain grin. And he even convinced Odin to exile Thor. I mean, how can you do that? But yeah, Thor, absolutely amazing villain, perfectly done, and there's no doubt he's definitely in the top 10. How can I not put Loki in the top 10 at least? I mean, I would have felt bad if I didn't put him in the top 10, but He's number 10 on the list, and coming in at number 9 is the Juggernaut. Nobody can stop the Juggernaut. That's right, he's in at number 9, and this guy is awesome. I love the Juggernaut. He's absolutely amazing. One of my favorite Marvel villains of all time. Now, the whole who can stop the Juggernaut or nobody can stop the Juggernaut truly defines this guy, and he's just so big and imposing. He's such a monster, and he's got he's really strong, like super strength. He's got a hard head, which it's good for headbutting and charging. Very, very awesome supervillain. Juggernaut, absolutely amazing. I love Juggernaut, no homo. But yeah, Juggernaut, absolutely amazing. And yeah, Juggernaut is definitely one of my all-time favorite supervillains. And coming in at number 8 is Green Goblin. Green Goblin is one of my personal favorites ever. One of the greatest Marvel villains of all time. If there was ever an epic battle with Spider-Man, Green Goblin would be one of them. Because, I mean, the storytelling was perfect. Now, when Spider-Man and Green Goblin fought and everything, it was... I loved it. And... one of my favorite Marvel rivalries. That's kind of weird to say Marvel rivalries. Okay, whatever. But yeah, and personally, I like the robot version of Green Goblin a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, I like the other version better, where he looks more like a goblin and everything, and he's not robotic. Personally, I like the robot version better. It's just about preferences there, but I like the robot version better. But, yeah, Green Goblin, throw pumpkins, like explosive pumpkins and everything, and his flying like board and everything, he can shoot things from it. He can do a lot with it. But yeah, Green Goblin, definitely one of my favorite supervillains ever. And coming in at number 7 is Magneto. Magneto is by far one of the best villains made by Marvel. I mean, the way this guy is presented as a villain, it's very well done, and I know I said well done a lot in this video, but it's whatever. But what this guy's powers is magnetism. I mean, it's in his name, Magneto. We'll just take out the O and it's magnet, but this guy can do a lot of like things with metal. Like he can like bend metal with his powers. He can like move metal around. Like he can kind of like move it like with his like magnetic powers, and just like throw it or whatever. But you get the point, And I mean, the way this guy is like, I don't know how to say it, but like, the desire he has to destroy his opponents, it's just, every villain has it, but the way Magneto has it, it's just, it's unique. It really is. And Magneto obviously had to be on this list, because, I mean, Magneto's one of those guys you have to have on your favorite Marvel villains list. But anyways, coming in at number 6 is Abomination. Abomination. In my opinion, Hulk's best rival. Now, when these two battle each other, it's like Battle of the Monsters. Because, I mean, they're both big and imposing monsters. And like, they have so many similarities to each other. Like I said, they're big and imposing monsters. Well, obviously they're both green, but that's beyond the point. There's just a lot in common with these two. I mean, they're both really strong, super strength and everything. Abomination, I saw a Hulk movie, one of the Incredible Hulk movies as a kid, and when I saw Abomination, I thought he looked really, like, creepy because of his face and everything. Like, how he looked like a giant, like, fish that grew a giant body and just got out of the water. That kind of scared me a little bit as a kid, but at the same time, I really liked it. Like, I thought he looked cool. Like, even when I was a kid, I forgot how old I was, but, even as a kid, I thought that he looked cool, and that is one reason why I like him. But the main reason I like him is just because he can measure up well with Hulk, and it just and how he could be just a dominant like villain. That's just it's awesome. Okay, coming in at number 5 is Sabretooth. In my opinion, Sabretooth is my favorite enemy of Wolverine. Now, what I really liked about Sabretooth was just his vicious character. Like how he was, like I said, vicious. He's just, I don't know what it was about him. It's just like how like vicious he was. It just really like, it really connected. It just really worked for him. And he's big and he's bad and he's ferocious. And I always really liked the costume. You know how Wolverine was like a Wolverine, pretty much, or if you want to say Tiger Wolverine, but he's named Wolverine. Uh, Sabretooth is kind of similar to that, but just obviously different kind of costume design. But I always liked Sabretooth. I always liked his look. I always liked his character, and yeah, I had to put Sabretooth on this list because he was always one of my favorite super villains. And yeah, coming in at number 4 is Doctor Doom. Come on. Did you think I wasn't going to put Doctor Doom on this list? How am I going to make this list and not have Doctor Doom on it? And I know some people might be thinking he should have been number 1, but, you know, I have a different number 1, but anyways, it's just my picks. And he's in armor, like silver armor. He wears the green hood, like a green chest protector, I guess you can call it. A green kind of kilt thing, if you want to call it, and a green cape. But what stands out about Doctor Doom is the evil persona this guy has. Like the character he has, the desire he has, the desire of pain he has to put on his rivals. It's just true villain, Doctor Doom. He is what a villain really is in my eyes. He's a true villain to me. He's just like, okay, he's one of the greatest villains ever. He's just that great, and his rivals were the Fantastic Four. And yeah, Doctor Doom, definitely one of the best villains ever. Coming in at number 3 is Crimson Dynamo. Number 3 is Crimson Dynamo. Now, the reason I put him in at number 3 is because I like Crimson Dynamo that much. That's just, I really like Crimson Dynamo. Not in that way. No, not in that way. But Crimson Dynamo was one of the very first Marvel villains I've seen. And his battles with Iron Man, definitely something I loved as a kid. And to this day, I go back and watch some of that stuff, and I remember like, man, that was some of the best Marvel rivalries ever. That's one of the best battles in Marvel. And, Crimson Dynamo, he had a suit of armor, just like Iron Man. Iron Man had a suit of armor. Very similar powers to Iron Man. I will just go ahead and say that. He can shoot lasers from his suit. He has, again, the suit is metal, so, he could resist, like, a little bit of, hits and everything, but, that's... Okay, moving on from that, but, Crimson Dynamo, he's just, like... He's really awesome to me. I always like the look and everything. And Crimson Dynamo, just by far one of my favorite Marvel villains of all time. Coming in at number 2. We're getting into the top 2. Number 2 is Carnage. Number 2 is Carnage. And Carnage, he's freaking badass. I freaking love Carnage, and you know, I just really like the look of this guy. I mean, he looks like somebody you could take seriously as a villain, and yeah, and how can you not love Carnage? Because I mean, he's just freaking awesome. He possesses superhuman strength, speed, stamina, and healing, and resistance to injury. And yeah, like he can, like get hit by something, but and then it like not hurt him as bad. So yeah, and you know what was really cool about him is just I thought it was really funny, like in some of the scenes where he was like, I can't remember which one it was, but he was like, I bet you aren't expecting that. I can't remember what it was. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. But, yeah, Carnage definitely up there as one of my favorites. He's my number 2 favorite. But now it's time to figure out what my number 1 favorite is. And you probably already know. I mean, if you don't already know, then, you probably haven't been following me on here or on Instagram. So, my number 1 favorite supervillain in Marvel of all time is Venom. That's right. My number 1 favorite Marvel supervillain of all time is Venom. Venom was the very first Marvel supervillain I've ever seen. And I'm not exaggerating. He was the very first Marvel supervillain I've seen. He's just awesome. And when I first saw him, I was terrified of Venom. I was absolutely terrified of him. I mean, a lot scared me about him. I mean, how big he was, how his tongue looked, how his mouth looked, how his face looked, how how gooey kind of. I don't know if you'd say gooey, but how kind of. Yeah, I'll say how gooey and venomousy, like venom, but like how like poisonous he kind of looked, because like he had kind of like a gooey like look to him, but you know what I mean. And just I don't know why, but like the thing that scared me the most about Venom was probably his eyes. I mean, how blank they were, like nothing there and everything, like no pupils or anything. Just how they looked, it scared me as a kid. But I still love the look of Venom. That's just like, it's an awesome look. Now, Venom versus Spider-Man, obviously my favorite Marvel rivalry ever. And Venom definitely my favorite Marvel supervillain ever. Like nothing will top Venom. And Venom is just what I consider to be a true villain. He's not a cocky villain. He's more of a monstrous villain. But I mean, he just has that villain look. And I gotta say, Venom, definitely my favorite Marvel villain ever. And yeah, that is my number 1 favorite Marvel villain of all time. Alright guys, well that'll be it for this video. Let me know your top 20 favorite Marvel villains ever. Let me know your top 20 favorite Marvel villains, and yeah, thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, rate, share, favorite, subscribe. Our social medias are in the description as always. And until next time, I will see you all later. Bye guys. I do plan on doing a top 20 favorite superheroes of all time video as well. I'm just not really sure when I'm going to get around to it, but I will get around to it eventually. I just don't know exactly when, but I will get around to it sometime.